So I feel dumb. And
Not
I was like, oh, yeah, I got my pass from this past weekend in my truck. Yeah, I realized I don't have it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to throw that out there today. No, I left it in the other car.
yeah.
So
Oh well.
I know, but I realized I can move pretty fast. I did like a quick sprint from here to the parking lot and back. So
It's a good
maybe
thing the door
next.
didn't lock.
I know. Oh my gosh, that would have been my luck. Martine go and shut the door on me as I'm trying to run back in and be like, oh, great. Yeah, that would have that would sum up how my week has been going.
I'm just gonna go home.
And you know what?
I
Hey, the
quit.
camera is live in the studio if anybody wants to jump in. Just let Troy know I'm locked out. That could have been. Well, welcome everybody. How is everybody doing? Welcome
Yeah.
to Zia Comic Weekly, where we are the survivors of this past weekend.
Oh,
Oh man,
yes.
Troy, how are you? How's everything going? I like how we got nice bright colors today, by the way.
It was my one clean shirt. I haven't done laundry yet.
You know, it's bad when you just like, I'm just gonna buy a shirt and wear a new one because I haven't done laundry. That's why I have
I
this
can
one.
wash clothes or I can buy this shirt.
I'm just gonna buy a shirt and call it good.
Yeah, it's a shirt. I'm buying it.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Hey, it just saved me $5. Well, actually, no, it didn't. I lost $5. I just did laundry. So, oh man, what's going on with you, man? How's life after this crazy weekend?
Well, it's just I'm just in between events now. That's all my life is events and in between events.
Yeah, I mean, so enjoy these next 48 hours before you got to get back into the other event.
Oh no, I've already started. I've already
Oh, see,
we're already
well,
I'm already working on El Paso Comic Con in April.
oh man, and you know what though? It's like, hey, well, we tried to give you a break, but so much for that.
Yeah, no rest for the
Oh,
wicked.
yeah, hey, but when you're having fun, what's rest to anybody?
Well, I saw a little bit of my own con. That was that was it. Just a very little.
Oh man, how did it go, man? How was everything? Man, just so much going on this past weekend, man. How are you guys doing?
It did well considering all the other stuff going on in the area on the weekend. Oh my gosh, that was a busy weekend.
Yeah, no,
You
man.
know, between the big concert in El Paso, there was a wreck on the highway that closed it for 4 hours. Uh, there was an all night event here in Cruces. There was like 5 or 6 other events going on, and I don't I booked the convention center a year out. You have to book it pretty far out to
Yeah,
secure your date. So it's not like I could just shift my date.
yeah.
These other people just came in last minute. It's like, hey, you know what? We're going to take that date too.
Yeah, we decided to do something too. No, I mean, just the planning, guys. If you guys, tuning in for the first time, this is talks that you start having about since now. I mean, you're already talking about El Paso Comic Con, for next year.
Yeah, I've already that's where the contracts were I showed you before we came in. Those are all contracts I'm working on for El Paso. A lot of these guys, though, especially the more popular ones, they book pretty quick. So you have to sometimes a year. A few of them you got a year and a half to 2 years in advance to get them, and then
Yeah.
it's still kind of iffy if they don't get called out for work.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's one of those things. It's the price of, they can be doing this, and next, hey, sorry, it's nothing, but I just been called back in for work, and I gotta. I mean, we've all been there, guys, where we're like, I'm gonna take time off. Oh, sorry, no, you're not. You're gonna get back to work.
Yeah, they get paid a lot more for doing a movie than they do for coming to a
Yeah.
con, so I can't blame them. I don't
Yeah,
hate them.
no, man, but overall, great experience, great costumes, man. The costumes this year, my gosh.
Yeah, you've been seeing the pictures that people have been posting.
So I had a couple friends on Sunday that were talking to me. I didn't recognize them at first. They just started having a conversation with me, and I'm like, "Yeah, cool, man." And then they were like, "Yeah, hey, it's me." I was like, "When were you gonna tell me?" Like, I'm 5 minutes talking, thinking I'm talking to a stranger, and I'm talking to a friend. I'm like,
You're just trying to be nice.
I really was. Like, I'm sorry, but I was trying to be nice, and I'm just like, "Oh, man, cool. Like, I'm glad you're telling me about your costume." But it's like, "Hey, it's me." I'm like, "Oh, well, I mean, that explains why you were so comfortable just walking up to me and talking to me."
No, that's at a con that everybody will just walk up and talk to you. It's kind of a safe space, man. Nobody gets ridiculed or made fun of. If they do, we kick those people out.
Man, and that's the beauty about it, man, because just conversations going around and, just I mean, from anything, just the different vendors. I mean, the one thing I gotta say, Troy, that I just appreciated was just being able to you're looking, and 10 minutes later, you're knee deep into a conversation because you were looking at a Funko doll, and the next thing you know, you're like, "Oh my god, I've been talking your ear off for 15 minutes," not realizing that we just went through this whole wormhole of a conversation about Spider-Man, and it's great, man, and just it's everywhere. It's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Did you get a chance to see Honky Tonk Man?
Funny story with Honky Tonk Man. I was so excited to tell this. So me and Martine, and of course, this is how every good story starts. We're walking, right? We're having this conversation, and I'm telling Martine about Honky Tonk Man. Little did I turn to my side, he was right next to me.
Good thing you didn't say anything bad.
Well, no, I was telling him, I was like, "Man, this is gonna be crazy though," because I'm just telling him, I was like, "Man, Honky Tonk Man, I hope they don't break his record." And he just turns to me and looks at me. He was like, "Wrestling fan?" I'm all, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, cool." He's all, man, I didn't even realize because there's just the crowd is going, and I turned to him and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," I I froze, Troy. I froze. I like didn't know how. Hi, I'm radio. Can you like talk and yeah, I was kind of and yeah, it was Martine witnessed the whole disaster. He was like, "You were right next to him and just didn't know what to say." I was like, "Yeah, I'm ashamed. I really am." But no,
You
he was right
fanboyed.
next to me. I did. I froze and I was like, I was not prepared because I'm talking to Martine, not realizing he's right next to me.
He's a
So
tall dude. I didn't realize how tall he was.
tall and small legs too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting older, so he probably quit hitting the gym. He skipped leg
Yeah,
day.
I did. I was like, "Don't worry, man. I skipped leg day too."
I skip every day,
Yeah. So, oh
and
no,
that's
it
not
was
a
just
fake accent. He really that's his real voice.
yeah, I
He
was
actually
taken
is.
back by that, man. I was like, "Oh my gosh." I was like, "Oh, hey, hi, it's me. I'm Radio." Like, I think he probably thinks my name is Radio, by the way, because the way that
He
"Hi,
said
I'm"
that day was something wrong with that boy over there.
man, that poor kid, man.
That
God
boy's
bless him.
touched.
God bless him, man. His name is Radio. And I'm
But he
like,
does love
"No."
his wrestling.
He loved his wrestling, man. He knew about my Intercontinental Championship, but that boy loved him some wrestling, but his name is Radio. His parents didn't love him. They named him Radio. Oh,
You
man.
start going Rain Man on him. Yeah,
I
Honky
know,
Tonk
right?
Man.
But
Beat the
I mean,
record. Yeah.
but come on, man. How many events can you be walking down and next thing you know, Honky Tonk Man is right next to you? And it's one thing I'm gonna just say, man, the fans, it's so cool because they respect the spaces. It's like, I mean, people could have mobbed him as he was walking. No, man, it's just like a hey, cool. How's it going? So
Yeah.
we know how to behave way
For the
out in
most part.
public.
Yeah. For the most
Yeah.
part. We try to keep people in line. Well, we don't want the celebrities to be, just mobbed whenever they go somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet, Patricia Patz. I do know
Yeah.
some people that did, and they said she's very nice, just the
Yeah. Very,
nicest
very
person
talkative,
ever.
outgoing.
Yeah. So Gino said that he got a conversation with her just the same way that I did, but he apparently knew how to put sentences together.
His name wasn't Radio.
Exactly. They're like, "I don't know, there's these guys out there that just call themselves Radio. We don't know what they're talking about." But yeah, so I was the radio guy. So, yeah, no, it was cool, man, and then, man, a lot of, favorite part, a lot of vendors, I walked away with quite a bit of things, so I had a lot of stuff to get for people, so, yeah, man, I just appreciate the different things.
Yeah, I know a lot of people walked out. As I was watching what people were buying, a lot of people were buying a lot of nerdy stuff and stuff
Yeah.
you're not really you can't go to Walmart and get it. So you got to
No,
go
I
to a
saw
con.
I don't know if there's just so much, but, like, one of the things that stood out to me, and I didn't get it, and I'm regretting it, but they had these candles, and they had, like they're like religious candles, but they have, like, Spider-Man on them.
Yeah.
Or they had, like, different athletes on them, and I went back and forth, and I kept going back and forth, like, "I should get one. I should get one." I was like, "No, I won't." Then at the end, I was like, "I shoulda got one."
I got one with the Big Lebowski on it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
See, that's why I was like, oh man, I saw one and I think it had Iron Man on it. And I'm like, that would be really cool in my office.
You would have had something to
Yeah.
hold in front of the camera.
Yeah. See, there you go. And instead, I just completely forgot that I worked today, that I just forgot everything. So,
That would have been a write-off thing because you used it for your job.
thinking that next year. Next year. Next year, it's like, why did he buy $300 worth of swag as a write-off, guys? It
Yeah,
was
just
it
put it in the
needed to be.
office. It's work related.
It's funny. You think about everyone, and you mentioned this. There's something for everybody. So while I'm looking at candles, Martine was looking at swords. So obviously,
Did
he
he go
was.
check out the dude? There's a guy there that hand makes swords. They're not the
Yeah,
cheap ones you get from Taiwan. This dude, you can pick your whatever that thing is that goes over the hilt, the arm, the handguard, and he puts them all together. He builds it all himself, and they're a little pricey, but man, they're great quality.
yeah. He was going back and forth about if he wanted this Xbox sword. That he was like, it would look pretty cool, and I'm like, I don't know, man, but have at it, man. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and just get my other Funko dolls and my stuffed animals that I
You're
bought.
talking
So
him out of buying the sword while you have a handful of Funkos and a candle.
it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't
You
make
don't
sense,
need
man.
that, Martine.
I'm like, Martine, be smart with your money. Meanwhile, and I'm about to go hit up the concession stand right after. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I better go get to the concession. I'm gonna go get some popcorn because it smelled good. Oh man, it
Man, a
was.
concession stand that they didn't rape people on the prices either, and they had some decent food, like $7
Yeah,
for
no,
the pizza,
that wasn't
$6
bad,
for the
man.
chicken pizza. I was. That's not convention prices. Typically, you pay through the nose,
Yeah, no,
but they sold a ton of those pizzas, and they ran out of
yeah.
chicken fingers twice.
No, man, it was just overall, man, it was great. And I had a blast, man. It was a blast. Like I said, I got to get my wrestling fix, even though in the most of awkward of ways. But I mean, it's just one of those stories, man, that I think you get to later tell people, like, hey, man, I was talking wrestling and I introduced myself to Honky Tonk Man as radio. So great. I'm sure he'll tell this story somewhere later. Like, yeah, some guy just called himself radio.
He's
Like,
he's telling the same story from the other point of view.
it's like, yeah, he's like, so I'm walking, right? And I'm just like, some guy is just chatting away like a radio.
Yeah, he's rambling out my stats. Told me his name was
That,
Radio.
and keep in mind, Martine could care less. Martine doesn't know. He doesn't like wrestling. And so he's just kind of like, okay, I don't know why you're telling me this. And I'm like, okay, but it's one of those things, man. Like you said, like everybody's just, it's a safe environment to just be a nerd.
Oh yeah,
Oh man.
definitely.
Yeah, no, but it was great, man. And by the way, that this is the tech in Martine, the giant board, the giant LED board.
Right.
Yeah, no, we were probably had like about a 15-minute conversation about the board, and we're like, okay, it's like, yeah, they got to put this piece together. I was like, I know, Martine, we were here when they were installing it.
Yeah, it's modular. They can make it as big as you want.
Oh man, no, I mean you made us look good, man. I mean everything just looked amazing.
Yeah. We started using that board instead of printing out. We noticed that the events guides, a lot of people weren't picking them up, and we were
Mhm.
throwing a lot away at the end. So we spent less money on that board, and just it catches people's eye. As soon as you walk in, you're seeing sponsors flash up, the schedule, the map. It's just better all the way around.
Yeah, no, it definitely it was just, I mean, it's just right there in your face. It's eye popping right as soon as you walk in, you know what you're in store for, and you know what's happening that day. So no, man, kudos to you guys. And the volunteers, man, they were running everywhere, man.
Yeah, they're not volunteers. We pay them.
Oh, yeah. Well, even
Yeah.
I was just, I'm gonna run with you.
We're not nonprofit, so we have to pay them. The IRS comes knocking.
Yeah. So no, it was man, great, man. It was great experience, man. A lot of fun. Little ones, of course, just I tell you, man, the costumes just it was a sight to see, man. So if you all went and checked it out, y'all were definitely in for a nice little treat.
Yep, we're gonna do it again next year. So
Yeah.
mark your
Oh.
calendars.
Man, though, how quickly did everybody tear down though, man? I think it was
Usually on Sunday. That's why we close a little earlier on Sunday. Around 3:30.
yeah.
You can see all the energy levels going down. People have done shopped all the weekend. They're pretty much done. The ones that are still in the hall are basically just they're going to stay there for every minute that they paid for.
Yeah.
So it gets to the end, and you see the vendors start slowly packing stuff up, and then as soon as like 450 hits, they start cutting all the ties and bringing stuff down. And
Yeah.
I think they were all out there by it probably was no later than 9 or 10.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man. A lot of fun. Just man, I'm excited for next year. So it's just it's a sight, guys. We're telling you now, like, yeah, y'all gotta be ready for it, man. It's
Yeah.
fun, man.
Tickets are on sale now, and there's a payment plan. So if you get it now, you can spread those payments out, guys, and get the whole family VIP.
One of the things that I was actually I heard this and they were telling me like if we hadn't talked about it, they're like, yeah, I got the VIP so that I could meet because they got the value to be able to do the meet and greet.
Right.
So, I mean, that right there and alone is a heck of a deal because you've paid for your admission, you've gotten the stuff, and you get to meet. And they were excited because they were going to go meet Patricia Patz. So they were excited for that part. So they were like, okay, they were going to use that to go and do the photos with her.
Yeah, I mean, those photo ops. That's a big boost to the VIP.
Yeah.
It's anywhere $30-40 of
Yeah.
value.
So, or once again, do what I did. Just not pay attention, and the person you want to meet will be right next to you, and you'll probably leave him confused. So, yeah. I I was so like, even when I was telling my wife, I was like, "I think I may have probably not went about that right," and she just laughing at me like, "Why would you call yourself radio? What are you, Cuba Gooding Jr.? What was the why?" I was like, "It didn't
Well,
make sense."
these celebrities meet thousands of people like every weekend, so maybe he won't remember you,
I
but
hope
then again,
so.
maybe he will.
He was like, "Man, you should have seen what happened in Las Cruces." Oh my gosh, man. So, let's nerd out, man, because while all this was going on, of course, some good stuff was happening. Blue Beetle dropped this weekend. I haven't got a chance to see it, but Blue Beetle takes down Barbie to take the number one spot at the box office. So, congratulations to the lovely Blue Beetle, and pretty good for DC, but it didn't make quite a bit of money. It was a slow weekend, but Blue Beetle still came out at number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Barbie had a good run. It was time somebody knocked her off the
Yeah,
top of the list. Um, I haven't seen Blue Beetle yet either because it came out during con weekend, and I'm trying to
yeah.
avoid the theater anyway. But I've heard good stuff on the reviews. It's just nobody's buying tickets.
Yeah, that was an interesting concept to hear great things. Apparently, there was some funny moments, especially as far as just some nice little Easter eggs that they say to be on the lookout for. And so TikTok is trying to once again spoil it for me, so I'm really trying to stay off of TikTok for right now. But no, man, I haven't seen really negative reviews about the movie. Just not a lot of
Yeah,
people went out to the theaters.
yeah. The only thing I'm seeing negative is the box office. They're saying, just, and I don't know. It's been 100 degrees everywhere for a long time, so I don't know if that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
I know here there was a ton of stuff going on, so I don't know. Maybe it'll have a good second week.
Yeah, we're hoping for a good second week, or if it means that it's gonna go to Max sooner than later. I mean, that's another pause. I mean, as much as like, oh, it didn't make a lot of money. Well, it could be beneficial to you and I that it may next month be out on HBO Max.
That's the way I'm going to see it.
Hey, got to take some positivity with it, right? Like, oh, they didn't sell a lot. Great, we're gonna get it streaming soon. So, of course, that dropped this weekend, and was like, okay, good for Blue Beetle. Didn't really see. I mean, I know there was that whole, are they going to recognize El Paso, and are they going to recognize, the backstory to Blue Beetle? And it seems like they did. I mean, you're not getting the complaints because people will hit the blogs and oh, they didn't do it like the comic book, and yeah, not seeing a whole lot of that.
Yeah, I mean that's good. I heard there was some references to El Paso in there. They mentioned that's where he's from, and he's working at the family business in Palmera City.
Yeah,
So I mean, I guess they had their reasons for not filming it in El Paso, and that might have been maybe they were afraid that all their equipment would get stolen. I don't know. It'll
Well,
end up
maybe
in
this,
Juarez. You'll see it
maybe
on Tex-Mex Motors.
I know, man. Oh my god, have you seen that show?
Yeah, yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
Tex-Mex. I liked it. The one a lot of people don't realize the only one guy is from El Paso on that show. That's Scott Rayton. The
Yeah.
rest of them have been on other shows, and they basically put together a super team. And Scott Rayton was just their local guide, taking them to go find all the cars.
No, I mean it's an interesting concept. I didn't realize that the executive producer behind this was Mario Lopez, and
Yeah,
he was one of the people that got behind this. We were like, okay, great. I mean, it's a pretty good way of going about getting getting some looks for the area. I mean, there's just so much in the borderland, and who would have thought cars? Maybe they need to bring let's see if it's cake to southern New Mexico. I mean, hey, you guys
make
could see.
cars that are
Yeah,
cake.
is it a car or is it cake? There
Is
you
that a
go.
small block or is it cake?
Ahsoka is now streaming on Disney Plus. Have you got a chance to see it?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
It's if you haven't watched Rebels, because this kind of starts right where Rebels ends, the comic series. Then there's a lot of stuff you're probably not aware of, like the whole relationship between Ahsoka and Sabine Wren, and her whole crew from Rebels. A lot of that stuff, and they're not wasting people's time, doing these flashbacks to show it to you. So I suggest people go and watch Rebels before they watch this. That's a big part of Ahsoka's story, because otherwise there's going to be some points. Because I was watching it with my wife, and she's like, "Well, why did they do that?" I was like, and then I have to hit pause. Okay. In Rebels, this is what happened.
He showed, and right here is where you're gonna see.
Broke out the whiteboard. You see,
Uh, I did notice this. I was on Disney Plus and I saw that it was streaming. But what I did notice, if you guys look on the main menu, as it's going through, like showing like Mandalorian season is available, it's also showing you where they reference her or where she appears in
mm-hmm.
Boba Fett, in the Mandalorian, and what else? Andor. I mean, they're letting you know, like, go to this episode so you can learn the backstory of her. So that's a smart idea, especially for those that may not know a lot about this character.
And she's a pretty pivotal character too. And before this, you only saw her in Rebels. And if you watch Rebels, you get to see her fight with Darth Maul and with Darth Vader, before she finds out he was Anakin.
Mhm.
And she holds her own against both of them. So she's pretty formidable. And yeah, you just got to watch Rebels. That's the only thing I can say. It explains a lot of stuff. We're going to see the rest of her crew. The other dude on her crew, I can't remember his name, the big blue ape looking dude. He was in The Mandalorian season 2 in one of the bar scenes.
Yeah.
So they're throwing little Easter eggs here and there. Now I think they're going to try to put them all together by the end of this season.
And I think that was a good idea because, constantly there's so many storylines when it comes to the Star Wars, the Star Wars just universe and just everything. So the fact that Disney is trying to make this like, okay, for those that, I mean, because really they're putting a lot of money into this character that is now has its own series. They want to try to keep you hooked because that's the only way that I feel that they can pull a second season because I don't know. I mean, but I wish they would do this a little bit more because if they're even like if you were to reference Clone Wars, like they could tell you, go here, go to this episode, so that way you can learn more about the backstory. Even if you don't watch the full series, you can
Right.
watch from that point to then catch up to whatever storyline you're following.
Yeah, especially that whole storyline when she, quits the Jedi Order.
Mhm.
There's a real good reason for that. So I
I,
hope they
I mean,
reference that in Rebels.
you guys got to check it out. It looks like the episodes are going to be dropping on Wednesdays or Thursdays. I can't remember. I just
I
logged
think
in
it's
and it was
Wednesdays.
there. Yeah, so there you guys go. You guys got that to look forward to, and I think that is going to take us up until we get to Low Key season 2. So Yeah, I mean, Loki season 2 is looking even better and better, man, and, I don't know. I'm excited for Owen Wilson. We need some more Owen Wilson in our
Wow.
lives. Wow, you're from a different universe. Wow.
I just want to see him get his jet ski.
That's
Poor
right,
dude.
the jet ski. Yeah, that
Poor dude needs his jet ski.
it's a man of simple taste. He just wants his jet ski. That's all he ever needs. Yeah, man, Disney Plus definitely has a lot laid out for us, and I don't know. I'm excited, man. I've been really haven't had time to catch up, but definitely I'm preparing myself, man, because I think Loki's gonna take a lot out of me, especially once we find out. I don't know if they'll end up making a season 3. Who knows what they do, but season 2 is gonna be anticipated for a lot of people.
Yeah, this season two is it's going to be Kang heavy, and I'm
Yeah,
wondering how where they're going to go from there with the whole Jonathan uh, Morgan, the whole
Majors.
Kang issue.
Yeah. I think, I mean, judging by the fact that if they have him in Loki, obviously they might be past that. I just don't know what that means when they get to, the Avengers, the 2 movies that they have planned.
Yeah, well, people have short attention spans, so they might just keep him in.
Yeah. And with this writer strike, I mean, it just seems these movies are getting delayed even more. So maybe with time, if it's delayed enough, they'll be like, okay, we're maybe in the clear and we'll
And
be
there's
able
no end
to.
in sight on this strike either, from what I
No,
can
man.
see that I've been reading. Both sides are
Yeah.
sticking to their guns.
Yeah, no, man, it's crazy because I mean, it's for a while there, it seems like we were getting updates, and now it's just kinda like a, "Nope, we're at a standstill. We're no one's budging."
Yeah, yeah, they should just pay these guys. They're making tons of money off of the stories they're producing. There's no reason why they should be on food stamps and writing
No,
hit movies and series.
it's crazy though, because and, like, even the percentage that they're asking for and I could be, I'm just kinda just, you know, talking points that I've seen here and there. They're not asking for a lot. They're asking for, like, a small percentage of what these movie studios are making. I mean, a very small percentage, and the studios won't budge.
Nope, nope. House of Mouse is keeping their money.
And it's funny, it seems the one that seems to be coming up a lot more is Netflix. So, Netflix seems to be the big one that they're really targeting. I've seen so many celebrities that are protesting outside of Netflix, and I'm like, "Okay, I think this seems starting to be more of an issue between Netflix and the writers."
And we're kind of semi-local Netflix now. They're up in Albuquerque.
Yeah. So,
So
I wonder how that's producing for Albuquerque with not having that studio running right now, unless they're doing something else, who knows?
yeah, I don't like they were saying, the editors and all those guys aren't on strike. The CGI guys, those guys are not on strike. So if it's an animated thing or something, they're still working. It's just
Yeah.
actors and writers.
Well, if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, we mentioned Sonic 3 was getting ready to get filming again, and that's because the animators, I mean, they can take care of the CGI and everything else and get that going that once the strike is done, okay, the actors come back, they voice their parts, and we got a movie and ready to go.
Yeah, I think Ugly Song is going to cross the line.
Uh,
He's going to be a scab.
hey, Ugly Sonic's been protesting for the longest time. He just no one just knew about it.
Uh,
Oh, man, I don't know, man. Hopefully, because I think if nothing's done by the end of the year, a lot of the projects that we're talking about now, I could either see some of them. To be honest, I'm starting to get a little worried for Stranger Things. I really think they may just say, you know what, we've reached that point. And these actors too, they're growing up. They're not gonna stay kids forever. I mean,
yeah, those kids
they
are like
already
30 now.
I know, and by the time they get to filming the season, it's like, what are you gonna do? Oh, this is now gonna be based in the '90s when they're adults and they have their own kids. I mean,
They might have to, because those kids are growing up quick.
yeah, I mean, Millie Bobby Brown is already married, and I mean, yes, that's aside from, and they could say, oh, we can always just make them look. Yeah, you kind of can't. I mean, you can't make me look like a 15-year-old. I'm too
Yeah,
old now.
it's kind of hard to make her look young anymore. She's
No,
turned into a woman.
yeah, no,
And the other dude, the I can't remember the kid's name, the black kid, he's like, 8 feet tall now.
right? So I'm supposed to believe that he's scared when he's taller than than the monster. I'm like,
with
come
a
on,
deeper
man.
voice.
I know. He was like, I'm not.
Hey,
He's like,
Vecna, I ain't scared of you.
it's like he's bigger than the bicycle. It's like, dude, you could drive yourself at this point. Don't ride a bicycle into the woods. Drive yourself.
Uh,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
they're gonna have to do something to explain the time difference.
Yeah. So, another one I was thinking about, I haven't looked up yet, and I don't know if this affects them. Squid Games. I'm sure that doesn't affect because this is filmed overseas.
Yeah, they're in Korea, so well, I know they had an issue with the main actor because he was requesting more money per episode. I think he wanted like 1 million per episode, and people were throwing a fit, and they're like, "Hey, wait, you realize this show made like billions of dollars, right? So that's a drop in the bucket. So
Yeah.
yeah, give him his percentage."
I mean, and especially if this is something that they can continue to film. I mean, Netflix is going to still keep rolling out their content. And one of the things that, I mean, know a lot of us aren't fans of it, but reality TV could be taking over our TVs pretty soon just because.
That pains me. I hate reality TV.
But I mean, depending on where they stand as far as the strike, a lot of them could be saying, "Hey, let's roll out more episodes of Jersey Shore and episodes of Is It Cake?" I mean, no, I think especially these big networks, man, they're gonna have to. You're gonna see a lot more of a. Oh, it's a food competition. Well, why are they going this long? Well, because they can't roll out their other shows yet.
Yeah, nobody's eliminated this week because we need 4 more episodes.
That's kind of how I feel. So I watch Big Brother on CBS.
Is that still on?
It's still on. And apparently they're saying it's an even longer season that they're gonna be in the house. And I was like, "Okay, it's usually a summer, but now they're saying 100 days." And I'm like, "Is CBS," and that's where I'm starting to think, "Is CBS planning for the strike to go this long that they're saying, 'Hey, we're not gonna be able to get our programming on for the fall. We need to make sure, hey, Big Brother, you guys are gonna have to keep those guys in there for 100 days, and we'll extend the competition just a little longer until we can get something going on.'"
Wow. Yeah.
I
These
just things
reality,
that
I can't see how they last like Amazing Race is on season 500. Survivor's been around forever. I,
people are still surviving.
I don't know. I think well, my wife watches those, and I know Survivor. They twisted up the rules this past season. Everybody was like, "Oh my goodness!" So
Yeah. But
Survivor.
I really think right now CBS and all these other ones are playing Survivor and they're saying, "Hey, we need to just roll these shows out." But we also mentioned on the other side about a lot of the Disney Plus shows are now on prime time on ABC.
Well,
So
we can pitch our own reality show and call it radio. Just the life of a DJ.
the life of a DJ embarrassing himself at every possible event in town.
Did you see the
Oh
last
man.
episode of Radio?
Yeah, he looked dumb that episode.
I didn't think he could top it last season, but he did.
Man, he just introduced himself to a wrestler and the guy walked off like, "Okay." Troy, they want to keep up with you. How can
Uh,
they catch you on the socials?
we're all over interwebs. We got Insta, Meta, X, YouTube, and TikTok.
And me, you can hear me on the radio.
Because that's my name.
Because that's my name. Hear me on the radio. You guys, of course, Facebook Hot 103's Big Show, Instagram, Big Show FM, and then Joey on the FM on TikTok. I'm done with threads. That like officially, like
I never
I'm not
started
can't delete it. I mean, I can delete the app, but I can't, delete the service because then I lose my Instagram. So yeah,
because Zuckerberg has you.
he got me. He got me good. So maybe I'll fight him in a cage match. Say, hey, if I win, I get to keep
He's
my
looking
Instagram.
pretty. No, he's been actually practicing with cage fighters and stuff, and I was like, no, Elon Musk. That was the smartest thing you did was back out of that fight.
He was like, wait, he's playing for real. He really
He's like, wait,
wants to
what?
punch me.
No, I just wanted to make fun of you online on my failing platform.
I know. He's like, hey man, take your low blows to Twitter. He's like, but we're gonna take it to the
Not
ring.
Twitter.
Guys, this has been another edition of Zia Comic Weekly. We'll see y'all next week.
Later, nerds.